So the world of apathy, sympathy, empathy, and what could be the success kit for a tech writer in this. So before getting into the descriptions, let's have some definitions so that we all are at the same page. For me, apathy is simply a state where none cares for others' issues. So for example, if as a tech writer, I'm having some kind of issue at workplace, others are least bothered about it. And so as a result, no consolation or no nice words come to me. Sympathy is a better state where I have some kind of problem and at least somebody or some people are noticing my issue. So I know at least, yeah, they know that I have some kind of a specific challenge in performing my work. And then comes empathy, where people are not only noticing, but they're agreeing to your pain point and they are trying to relate it with themselves also. So they are very much with you, in sync with you. So technically that means they are ready to help you also. So these are the three kind of stages that can happen in any profession, in personal life also. Probably many of you might have felt that. If you haven't felt apathy in the professional life, of course, you are very lucky. Sympathy, empathy, I'm sure all of this, many of us have felt it. Now, how does it impact us? So impact of apathy is like, probably we just feel like this, oh, nobody likes me. What happens when you feel nobody likes me? You don't feel motivated at all. You feel highly demotivated. You feel all alone. You don't know what to do. And it basically brings you down. But if there is some sympathy, we feel okay. At least there is, if not many, at least there is one person in the organization who is understanding my problem. And that means it's not me who is the cause of the problem. And probably I'm not that bad. And I can hold up to my skills, I can hold up to my strength, and then I can bounce back. So that leads up to some kind of motivation. And then we have the empathy. So empathy basically, yes, of course, makes you feel very happy. You feel, yes, I'm noticed, I have support, and you feel motivated to touch the moon, to do anything, right? So how are these linked to a tech writer? Now, before coming to how are these linked to a tech writer, I will just do one thing. I'll stop sharing my screen for a while because going to chat makes it difficult. I am pasting a link here for a Google form, and I'm requesting all of you so to open this form, and there are some questions on this. Can you fill that question?
Puneet, do you want us to fill them now?
Yes.
Right
Yes.
now or
Yes.
later after the
Yes.
session?
Yes. Those are. So take 1 minute to 2 minutes. And there are some questions on actually GitHub also. So I'm sorry I have mixed up both the questions. So probably you can just go ahead and fill that. And because that data will be required in the presentation.
Punit, is your screen is not shareable right now?
No, right now I just pasted the link in the chat. So you can see the chat. And now I'm going back to my presentation. So I will wait for a minute for you guys to complete that. So the benefit of doc tool is those are just the pointers written. Select if you agree as a benefit. If you think no, that benefit is not being served in GitHub or doc tool, then don't select that. So if you think, for example, it's easy to use, then select it. If you think no, it's not easy to use, then don't select it.
Punit, Vaishali here. What if I have never used GitHub, so I won't be able to answer?
I think there is one option, never explored.
No, in benefit of GitHub, select only if you agree. In that case,
Yeah. So there is probably one option, Vaishali, which says never explored.
I'm talking about next question actually. After that,
Just one sec.
because it is for the people who have used it.
Benefits of GitHub. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have
No
added one
problem.
option.
Can
You
I
can
skip
probably
the
just select.
question?
No, I think it's marked mandatory. So you can just pick any one of those and you can leave that then.
Okay, okay, okay. No problem.
Sorry, I should have
Thank you.
considered that. Yeah. Okay, so it's 11:02. We will just take 2 minutes more, 11:04, and we will close it, and then I'll come back. Yes, I can see the results, people. So you don't need to write there in chat, submit it. Okay, 1 minute more if anybody still is left and wants to submit. Okay, thank you. So I will start sharing my screen so that all of you can see the result also. Okay, so this is what 24 of us have responded, and this is what we see. As Techwriters, select what have you experienced. So apathy, sympathy, empathy, and 62% say all. So that's interesting. So probably there are out of 24, if 15 are saying 62%. So there is still 30 odd percent who have never experienced apathy. So that is certainly lucky. And for the second point, did you experience apathy and other two in the same company? This was 50-50. Wonderful. Now this third part is very important. How did you rise from apathy or sympathy to empathy and beyond? So 75% have said mix of both. Mix of both means whatever your own tech writing skill or professional skill you have, and then basically you have interacted, and there are some who could not tackle it, and there are some who had to go for this external care also. So actually these last 2 pointers, this is where the focus is, that how basically it leads people, to feel completely demotivated, and how it at times such a pressure builds up that we are unable to cope up with it. We don't know actually what to do. But still, this is life. We can't simply just have this option that, okay, this thing is not working out. Okay, so what to do? I'm not able to tackle. Yes, that is a very practical situation. I am not able to tackle. But then the point is that, okay, how can I try to tackle it? And it's not about lives, so where we can say, right, that, okay, fine, switch this profession. For Sushant, many people say that, okay, he was in the film industry. He should have just, if he was getting so much of pressure and he was not able to tackle, then probably he could have switched to some other job or to some other profession. So that's about life. I mean, that's debatable. We are not getting into that. But being as a tech writer, how do we tackle it? Because when we talk about apathy, we are getting the apathy from other people, other teams. So it's about person to person. Now, if we are getting that kind of apathy, then probably we first need to find out what could be the reasons. First question, of course, comes, people start doubting themselves. If you get too much of criticism, directly or indirectly, the first thing what we do is we start blaming ourselves. We feel that probably we don't have the right skill. We feel probably we are not the right fit here. So that agony basically transforms into, I won't call it always a depression factor, but yes, it brings a very low feel in us. And at that point of time, we do think how to bounce back, because everyone wants to be a fighter. Everyone wants to not only to survive, everyone wants to excel. And if we are in a profession, that's because of our skill that we have been selected for it. It's not that we were somebody's, uh, as a gift somebody has given us the job. So this is where on these points, whether particularly if it's just about apathy, sympathy, and if somebody is feeling the pinch, then how to turn it into your own favor. How not only become valuable for empathy, but going beyond empathy, how overall you can excel. So based on the experience that I have so far in my career of around 15 to 18 years, overall, right, starting from scratch as a fresher, where I did not have any technical writing course certification in my hand, and I was coming from a different industry, and till here, where now I have a lot of experience with multiple companies, different kind of projects, different kind of domains, and of course interaction with a lot of people from juniors to seniors. And apart from that, I have the habit of interacting with people where I try to just feel them that, okay, to feel that, okay, how they are performing, how they are doing, what good thing or better thing they try to get out of a tough situation. So based on all that, this presentation is all about. So thank you all for responding to the survey. That is very nice. Now let's say what could be a survival kit which can help not only to shine, but also to excel. And when I say shine and excel, that goes actually beyond empathy. Yes, accepted there is apathy factor, accepted there is sympathy factor, and then of course empathy factor. But then this whole presentation is all about how we can shine and excel despite having some tough situation. Tough situation will not give us invitation to come. They can come anytime, in real life also, in professional life also. But how we can cope up and how we can then bounce back to shine and excel. So what does this survival kit contain? As per me, these are the few things which you can read here. First is the tech writing skill. That's the first thing. That is what we are hired for. So we have to be very sure that we have tech writing skill to perform expected work properly. Then as our designation, whatever be the designation. Some people are called information developers, some people are called information engineer also, and there are other designation also which does not include the word technical, but actually all these designation fit into one word, that is technical writer. So let's try to understand this thing. And this thing, it's not about only this presentation. Earlier also I have been mentioning, in this today's competitive world, technical writer is no more just about the word writer, and writer is equal to knowing good English. No, it is about the first word also, which is technical. We will get into the details. So stand by the name of the designation, showcase your technical understanding. Interaction, it's very important. Even in the survey, some of you have mentioned that you used interaction when you faced apathy or sympathy kind of stage. Then you used interaction as one of the key thing. Then proactively participate. And when we say proactively participate, it's like not only contributing for your role, which is tech writing tasks or whatever responsibilities you have, but be part of the overall system. How? We will, all these we will discuss in detail. And then as a technical communicator, the first thing which we are supposed to be good at is communication. Communication is different basically from our interaction or general tech writing skill. Communication is like when what we want to communicate, and communication can be for problems and communication can be for solutions. But whether it is a problem situation or a solution situation, how do we communicate, when do we communicate, that we need to know. And one last thing is always try to act instead of react. I hope you know the difference, otherwise we'll come back. So tech writing skill, when we just talk about tech writing skill, what all does it contain? This is the core things that I have noted. Of course, it contains many more things if we take a deep dive. First thing is, of course, technical writing English. As we understand, as a writer, we are supposed to use our writing skill. Primarily, all of us in this group are using English, or if somebody is using some other language. So let's talk about English. This technical writing English is different, that we must understand. It's different from content writing English. If we are a content writer, then we have to use content writing English. It's different from the general newspaper English. It's different from the books we write, or it's different from the blogs we write. Technical writing English has certain parameters, certain understanding, certain processes. You have style guides. And if you are not aware, then first of all, we should make ourselves competent in writing technical writing English. And that's related to the second point, technical ability to understand a product and explain. Just understanding the product is one major part. But as a technical writer, unless we are going to explain it in a way where everybody can understand the product, even if the product is highly technical, unless we do that, the technical writing skill is not fulfilled. So that is why we should have this technical ability. It's not about just ability to understand a product. Technically, we should understand the product, and then we should use our writing skill to explain it in a way where everybody can understand it properly, whether that person is very skilled in that particular domain or product, or whether that person is a newbie in that product. Just by seeing our documents, they should be able to understand. And that is why technical writers are important. I'm sure all of you understand that. Otherwise, developers could have written that document. But developers can really create a great product. But they don't have the ability. They can write great code, but they don't have the ability to basically narrate it, how it works. And in the same way, vice versa for most of us. We have the ability to narrate, but we don't have the ability to write the code. I said most of us, some of you might have been doing it, but still. So this is why, as developers are very important for certain things, in the same way technical writers are very important, very important. So this is where the first 2 points, basically we should check ourselves whether we are really good, whether we are actually doing it. Third is industry knowledge to show domain expertise. Recently, I saw a post on our on our Telegram that somebody asked why domain expertise is becoming very important. We had a session also before on why domain expertise is important. Please try to understand when you are writing, and if you are writing as an experienced writer, domain expertise is required. Okay, from at the time of joining the job, it might not be important because you can't, get trained in 10 different domains and show some certification. But after joining, you should have this keen urge to have that domain expertise. Expertise can come later, but at least you can start with domain understanding, and slowly as you work, then the expertise will come. And how this domain expertise help, basically, it helps you write better. It helps you pick the right word which are suitable, right words which are suitable for that particular domain, for same kind of action or for same kind of concept. Probably the words will be different. So that is why domain is important. If I am writing a storybook and if I am writing a movie story, the language cannot be same. That is where the domain expertise matters. Language cannot be same. I mean, language will be same. The words cannot be the same. I can write in English. I can write in whatever language I know. But then the domain specific terms we do need to use. So this is where domain expertise is required. We can't get away right now by saying, no, technical writers don't need domain expertise. And it serves us good only if we show domain expertise. It increases our pay package also. Good knowledge of documentation processes and standards. This is certainly something that we should always think about. Good knowledge, how to keep, enhancing our skill, how to keep reading, how to see what's going on around the globe in the documentation circle. And at least the basics, process and standards, whatever they are, we should be very much aware about that. Well versed with help planning. Help planning means help is generally the guides. I mean, that is why it's in bold here. Any kind of guide or document which you're writing. So when you plan for it, how to present it? Why do we need technical writers? Somebody can just write in Notepad and provide the description and say, here is the description. But probably it's not so user-friendly to read it. That is why we use different kind of tools, the formatting, the styles, the graphics. At times we use videos. At times we decide what type of guides we are going to present, which can help the customers better. Remember, you are providing the same kind of information. You can probably provide that information as a podcast also. You can provide as a video also. You can just provide the document as part of a code also. You can say that, okay, I have provided the information. Now it's on users to figure it out, how to understand it. But that's not the way it runs. You have to provide in a way where it's more user friendly. So this is where, how do you plan it? What all to include apart from content? How to present it better? And this last one, doc processes for other teams. This is not the documentation process that I am talking about in writing our documentation. This is the doc process you define for the reviewers. For your reviewers are apart from peer review within the team. For SMEs could be developers, could be product managers, or if you're writing sales document and all, there could be any other reviewer. But here when I say reviewer, I mean reviewers outside the documentation team. So any SME, you should define the review process so that the understanding is very clear. You should define the process to collaborate instead of telling people this is how we will collaborate. And in the end, you keep running here and there. please do this, please do that, and then the project delivery time comes, and then actually people will ask you only, the delivery is not good, and you keep on explaining, look, you only did not provide the input at the right time, you only did not did this time, I was always running around, see my 10 emails, see my the. But this is where the process, if we define a process and then we ask people that, okay, this is the process we are going to follow, do you agree or do you see any challenge? People will write in the beginning, they will say yes, I agree, or they will say probably it doesn't work, it needs some modification. Whatever be the process, define the process so that in the end you can say this process was not followed. So this, nobody can come and say, look, you did not do. You can say that I cannot force you to do something, I was just following the process, and if you did not follow, I cannot help. So this is where overall the tech writing skill. So tech writing skill is not only about how we are writing the document, it's about the professional skill overall to how to get your work done smoothly. And if you're able to do your work smoothly, probably there will be less chances of blame games. And of course, overall, the project teams and others will also feel happy. There will be always some exceptions, but more or less it will be a better situation. So second point is about technical understanding. Technical understanding of the product and writing it contains two parts. One is the internal effort and second is the external effort. Internal effort, of course, if I don't have the technical understanding, I am facing some challenge. So I have to expose myself to the people who know it. And these are the team members, at least in an IT company, developers, QA, PM, who are more technical. When we talk to them initially, if I don't know about the technical, if I don't have the technical knowledge, what they will talk, it will sound Greek to us. We will not understand a single word. But then by profession, I'm forced to understand because I have to write about it. So what do? I must expose myself to that kind of discussion. That is why I must attend the Scrum calls daily, even if I know my time of talking in the Scrum call is hardly 30 seconds. Still for 14 minutes and 30 seconds, I should stand there, try to listen, even if it's not making sense. It will not make sense in 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. Later on, slowly it will make sense if you hear the same words. And how it will make sense for you, you hear the words from them, try to understand. Probably if you ask some questions, basic questions, probably they will not answer. Go to make that external effort. Search, use Google or whatever. Go to the social media forums. There ask your questions. Go to the peers in your field, or go to your friends. You must be having some friends in development circle or somewhere, or anybody. So there are many options. Go and pick somebody, pick some forum, try to understand that. So basically this is understanding the technology. And please remember, I'm just saying understanding the technology. I'm not saying to get expert. I'm not asking you to become an expert in Java. I'm not asking you to go and write the code. Technical writers should have basic understanding. That understanding they should have, that okay, if people are talking about Java, what using Java, how it helps the product. If people are asking, people are talking about some other technology, what it does. If people are talking about AWS cloud, containers, some words like that, what is it? So this technical understanding, we should have the basic understanding of that concept. That's all a technical writer is supposed to do. You can go way beyond, no doubt in that, but at least that much understanding you should have, so that when you are writing, you can explain it very well. And after having that understanding, after developing that kind of thought process, always remember, verbal thing is not the best way to test yourself. Go and write a blog or summary, share it with someone. Okay, I have written this. Do you understand? Is it clear? Explain to somebody, talk to somebody. If the other person understands, then obviously you feel good that, okay, my understanding is complete. This is why, this is how we practice to make our skill much better. And of course, then we go back and use it in our documentation. Third point is about interaction. I don't think I need to talk about interaction. I have picked some quotes from the web. I thought it basically, I like this part, the last one, what Douglas is saying. The action is in the interaction. Unless we interact, it's a big problem. It's often said that technical writers sit in silos. I know many don't. Many are very chatty. They make friends all over. But more or less, when we talk about complaints, technical documentation team versus others, then while technical documentation team has many complaints against other teams have one very common point, that technical documentation team members often don't interact much. Much doesn't mean that they don't sit on the lunch table together or have a sip of coffee together. That doesn't mean. Interaction means that whenever like there are meetings, scrum calls, sprint demos, general discussions, they don't participate much. And also, most of the time they are glued to their seat. Like developers and QA teams generally, many times they will interact in general also. So interaction holds the key for us. How does it open our doors for multiple things? When we interact, it's not necessary that we should interact only with agenda. The first thing which all of us know, which I don't need to tell actually, when we interact, we develop slowly a kind of bond, an acquaintance. Slowly it might turn into friendship, but at least acquaintances develop. People know us. People know how we talk, how we believe, how we express ourselves. And this is the first thing which basically cuts down the apathy factor. You also know if somebody is on talking terms with you, you generally don't criticize them unless you have a really, really big issue. Even if I feel that there is something wrong, I will openly never criticize that people just because I have been interacting with the person. And for some reason, due to interaction, I like the person. So this is the like breaking the chains, letting others know. So always try to interact, even if while working from home also you can interact, right? It's not necessary to ping others only when you have work. In working from home also, like right now in the beginning I was talking, we were talking, so challenges were shown, that what are the challenges. The same challenge everybody is facing irrespective of their designation and the team. We can just say hi, hello, like in office we might have gone to the desk and said hi, hello, how are you, just chit chat. So these are something probably, you will have better examples also, but yes, please understand that in this world where we want to get away from apathy and we want to get to the empathy factor, interaction helps us create the bond. Then comes the work factor. The better you do, the more respect we have. What do we mean by proactive participation? Proactive participation is, in simple word, it is not waiting to take orders, but moving ahead on your own, trying to find out where all I can contribute. Simple. It's as simple as that, proactive. As the word says, proactive, if you go for the dictionary meaning also, it will simply proactiveness. That's all. Taking action on your own. This is where you can use all these points. Don't stay quiet. Don't stay quiet doesn't mean that always go and chatter also. But basically, wherever, plan for meeting, even if it's a small, very small scrum call which happens daily. If you want to show your presence, do some back-end work. Make some preparation about, okay, what all the tasks they are going to discuss, what they can discuss, where I can contribute, what all I can ask. So rather than just, by the way, walking into a scrum call, make some preparation. The more we showcase our knowledge, the more we get respected. It's as simple as that. Even if you see in development circle, You might not be respecting all the developers, but you might be respecting some developer whom you think that this person is basically holding a lot of knowledge. Whenever I go with whatever type of question, this person answers. So you automatically develop respect for that person. That person never demands respect from you. But the talk, the action, the behavior, there is a probability you develop respect for somebody whom you might not have ever said hello in person. So this is where this proactive thing comes up, that okay, be proactive, participate more, and talk, don't talk rubbish. Participating doesn't mean about talking about anything. Talk about the project related stuff, showcase how document can, improve the project. Generally people have this line that okay, documentation, who needs it? Everybody needs it. That is why we have a different role called technical writer. So this era has gone where the thing was about who needs. This era is about documentation is required. But yes, we have to showcase how documentation is required, how documentation can add value, and what we can do. So this we should not just sit back and complete our task. There are sprint demos in agile or any other project methodology you are following. Before delivery, there are sprint demos. In those demos, you have also done the sprint work. Not only development has completed work, you also go ahead and say that okay, I also want to present what topics I have created. Go and explain why have you created those topics and how. It's not just showcasing okay, we have added 2 links to it. Doesn't make sense. Don't do this. Don't go to the demo. Why have you added those 2 links? Why have you updated some content in some topic? Explain how is it. In any company, everything is all about customers. So explain how this topic is going to help the customer. If we notice the sprint demos of development, they always say that this was the use case and this is why we have done it. This is how it is going to help the customer. So that is what is called proactive participation. Speaking up, share ideas with people within the organization, that how you can contribute beyond just your routine tasks that can help the product, and ultimately it's going to help the overall organization also. For example, if you see the UI is messy, find the avenues to contribute to it. In UI there is technical writing, there is English content, there are labels, there is look and feel, anything. At least for the English content, you can always go and say that okay, I can help. Our product needs a good English content. I'm going to help you with that. I'm not going to charge anything extra. You don't need to add UX writer designation to my title. But as a technical writer, I'm the right person for it. Show your value. Even there are many times official emails sent to customers. I'm not talking about the sales emails. I'm talking about like many products do have that. If you click something, then there is some email generated, automatically generated for the customer. Those emails are basically created by the developers and all. So check those emails, test it. If you see that there is a scope for improvement, you tell them. And when you're going to tell that you are going to contribute, like we don't need like to hear the negative words. Hey, this documentation is crap. Can you do something about it? Rather than somebody could say, hey, this documentation, is fine, but probably it needs some improvement. Can I have some suggestions? See if that makes some sense. Same way, we can also go to others and say in the same tone. We should not go and showcase. We know that, okay, that thing is crap, but we should not go and use the such negative words. We should tell them that, okay, together, its product belongs to us together. So this is how the proactive participation can help. And of course, showcase this third point, talk about your doc plans. Whatever you are planning, whatever you are doing, never work in silos, never just keep it to yourself. And it's not about boasting. Everybody has to share the plans. So go ahead and basically discuss about that. Sorry. So this is where just one thing, communication is the key. And when does the communication help? Just communicating anytime doesn't help. Communication has to be timed pretty well. You can communicate for problems, you can communicate for solutions. During project, you can have situation where you need to communicate. Even after post delivery, there is maintenance work going on and all. Then also you need to communicate. Communication is important at any point of time, but you have to see the time. One feel I have often heard people sharing is, I'm also part of the project, right? So they should be knowing what's going on with me. Why do I need to tell each and every time? No. If you are facing a problem, it's your job to communicate. And after communicating, if the problem is not getting solved, then there is certainly a bigger problem. But the way we say they should have understood, they can say also that how can we understand without they telling us? All of you let's talk just about the technical writing field. All of you must have been going through that juggle of appraisal cycle every year, right? To whom do you fill that appraisal for whom do you fill that appraisal sheet? This goes to your technical documentation manager, which in most of the cases will be somebody from your technical documentation team, unless you are a lone writer who is reporting to some other team. Think about the scenario. For a whole year, you have worked with the same manager on his or her instruction. Still, at the end of the year or quarterly or half yearly, whatever way it works, don't you fill a big appraisal sheet where you showcase, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. There also, do you think, I have worked for 1 year under this person only, why do I need to write so much explanation? You do need to write the explanation, and you do need to write so that without thinking that the person should know. So this communication, if we hold on to, yes, don't over communicate also, don't be so communicative that okay, basically it's considered a problem, and always communicate in a very professional way, in a decent way, whatever be the situation, good or bad, at least from your end, it should not show in your communication. But yes, communication holds the key. We should not just sit back and think the other person will know, should know. And the last point, certainly, act or react. Act is in green and react is in red. React is something, I mean, all of you must be knowing. React is something when people come back to us and then we just don't have an option but to react, to act on what people have said. Then what happens? The thought is that we have to tell the writer so many things and then only these things happen. But if you are always on your toe, ready with what all you have to do, then basically the situation comes of acting. That you act so well that there are very less situation of reacting. And as a result, basically, you are always respected. That, okay, this person is always up to the task, this person is always ready with whatever they are doing. So this is where all these skills, I would say, we should have. Remember, we have the technical writing skill. That is why we are on the job. We know how to write. That is why we have been hired. We know how to use a certain tool. Even if we don't know, we learn that. But knowing the tools, knowing just our job is not enough to get us to the empathy and beyond factor. We have to do all these things. We have to communicate, we have to interact, we have to be really good in our skills, and we have to make friends so that people should know that actually, yes, you are also doing a good job and what job you are doing. Many times people say that, oh, hey, I don't even know what you're doing. Okay, I know you are creating some document, but actually I don't know much. So this is the situation we should get away with. And that is where I will say that's our overall survival kit. Now, if you guys have any question, we can move to questions.